Hello everyone, my name is John Quixote.
And I'm your Where There's Fire, There's Me, Devin.
And welcome to the One Pod Piececast.
Woo! So we got a little bit of a weird episode for you. We're in a lull period. We don't have access to a new chapter that isn't just raw scans and leaks, you pirate mongers. So I figured this would be a good time for us to, I know we've been doing some get to know your host in regards to One Piece stuff, but get to know your host as people unrelated to just One Piece. Still going to be a lot of our consumption of media, how that consumption defines us, so on and so forth. But I thought we'd do something fun for the fans today.
Okay, so this isn't
restricted
just to One Piece on this.
No, this is because we're currently still on your channel. People can look through and see other stuff you've done. There's more than just One Piece in your interests. So I figured, it'd be we got a lull period, and then moving forward in the future, times like this, I'm gonna invite a guest, and we're gonna talk about where they're at in One Piece and their experience with it.
I mean, considering there's no one else in Georgia.
I have had 2 people approach me so far.
No, and I while editing, I was like, wait, no, I do know someone else that's in one of my other D&D groups.
Right, so it's we're slowly collecting it, but this comedian battle rapper I know named Party Boy Crash on TikTok, has reached out. Another one of my comedian friends, Azalea Renee, has reached out, and I was actually I did a feature on their podcast because she does one with her and Tall Trey Comedy called Comedy Manners, and I was actually on their 5th episode released about competitions and whatnot. So inevitably in the future guests, but I figured it'd be kind of stupid to have guests before people even know who the fuck we are as people. Yeah, so figured I'd go first, do a little bit of the interview thing, sort of set a pace on it, and then you take over after, and we'll kind of do a little role reversal as we're doing things. Hell yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. So, welcome to the One Pod Interview Piececast.
Thank you. I've never been here before, so I appreciate the warm welcome.
Not once. You definitely didn't set up the recording studio in your home that we currently record at. So, I know you as JJ, but what would people online know you as?
John Quixote, mainly. Yeah, I mean, online, John Quixote, professionally, John, closer, JJ. I mean, honestly, you can call me whatever you fucking want. That's fine.
As long as you leave it in the comments when you do. So, awesome. When did you start doing content creation? Because you've been doing this for a little bit now.
I want to say I started back in 2017?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember for sure, but I know I've done it for a moment. Started off as just doing video game Let's Plays. Absolutely horrible, but I mean, we all are when we first start off.
And as we continue, I'm still bad at everything I do. But, so what got you into content creation? Because you usually find one of 3 schools. You have your didn't get enough attention growing up, and now I want people to pay attention to me online because it's a way to outlet my narcissistic tendencies. You have your wanted to make money off interest, and another one was just wanting to do something more with your interest.
Well, it had to deal with back in 2013. Yeah, 2013. I actually had a major back surgery, and where my severe spinal stenosis, I was told, hey, you either get this surgery or you're going to be paralyzed. So
then you'd have to be the same height as the rest of us.
No, technically I'd be lower.
Finally.
Maybe the same height as you at
4'3". And I'm a strong 4'3", damn it. So, was that time in your life, scary? Were you just trying to find an outlet then at that point?
I wouldn't say it was scary because, honestly, I take most everything in stride. Mm-hmm. And, if anything, it was more of, I was more or less bored.
Mm-hmm.
Because after surgery, I ended up spending, I was supposed to spend 2 months in bed or, recovering.
Stick to your recovery periods, please, folks. Anyone who's in recovery right now and is seeing this, please listen to your doctors. They got way too much medical school debt to not give you good advice.
Well, my doctor cleared me after about a month. I was like, I've got to get out of here. I got to start doing more. But during that period of time, the main thing I would watch was YouTube. And like during that time, the main ones I remember watching were like Doug Walker from I don't watch him now, but I can't even remember. But he did like movie reviews and stuff like that, and Markiplier, which is
where a lot of us get our start, really, with Let's Plays.
Well, and just watching them do it, like Peanut Butter Gamer and stuff like that, just seeing them do it.
Game Grumps.
Actually, yeah, Game Grumps was one of those. But seeing all of them do that and have fun with it, I was like, I think I could do that. So I was like, hey, let me give it a try. Bought a bunch of shit, started out. It was garbage, but you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere to get somewhere. And so that's kind of what it was. And from 2013 to like 2017, all that time, about 3 years of that was just thinking about doing it, and then 2017 was finally doing it.
Well, the old cliche, the best time to plant a tree is 15 years ago. The second best time is today. So, think about it, getting it done. And you mentioned earlier being bored, which actually segues me into my next thing. So, aside from content creation, how would you spend your time? Like, Wall of One Piece and indie games and board games.
Let's just say I've occupied my time with many hobbies. Many hobbies.
Hobbies, media. I know you have a pretty ample anime collection. You are a bit of a hype beast because looking around, guys, we just got shoes. And I wish it was we got some dad New Balances, but it's fucking Nikes. It's hype beast accoutrement. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. So just a hobbyist, then, really. Right,
and honestly, the sneakers, that's more of a more recent one. Just because I've been working on trying to freshen up my fit and stuff like that. Kind of different hats and stuff like that.
Accessories and so on.
Yeah, because I see. Especially now that I'm a lot thinner. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm still working towards it. Because I used to be 390 pounds. At the peak of it, I was 390 pounds. And now I've regressed a little bit from the 240 I was, but I'm working to get back to that 240 and maybe a little bit lower than that, and then bulking up.
And that's when you're going to come work out with me, and I'm going to put you through just so many training regimens. Side note, always open as well. Chris Dave, another one of our friends, has his membership, so I have my +1 open again, and just, you'd be surprised, weightlifting trims up fat real fucking quickly.
Oh yeah, because fat actually burns calories a lot faster than fat does. So,
awesome. So, a little bit of a hobbyist. Have you been into manga and anime a while, or was it a later life thing?
Honestly, the first anime that I've watched other anime prior to One Piece, but I didn't know what they were, and it wasn't
I was about
anything...
to say, two perfect questions. What was the first anime you ever saw, and what was the first one you ever registered as an anime you were watching?
One Piece was the first anime I registered as watching.
Gotcha.
First one I had ever watched would probably be Pokemon.
That's a first for a lot of people.
Yeah, because, growing up right when it was first coming out, I was in 5th grade, either 4th or 5th grade when Pokemon first came out. So, and I was big into Pokemon.
And for the listeners at home, how old are you? We never touched on that.
I'm 34.
34. Awesome.
Yep. Okay. Just barely made it as a millennial.
We'll get to my age and stuff later. I'm 5. Oh, boy.
I'm this many years old.
I'm this. So, One Piece, but Pokemon was the cartoon that you liked, and One Piece was the anime that you liked. Wink, wink.
Actually, by the time I got into One Piece, I was already kind of moving out of Pokemon. But I'd seen other, what would have been considered anime through Foxbox or WB Kids, stuff like that. Digimon, Metabots.
Ooh, just because you did mention two very similar, because Pokemon, Metabots, and Digimon all fall under a very similar category, which is human, friend with creature, to do a tournament. And I mean, Digimon isn't classically a tournament, but they're still like...
To do a battle.
To do a battle, right? So, you only get to keep one of the 3. Which do you keep? The other 2 just do not exist.
Including the... Just as anime or as like everything?
We will okay, as of right now, everything. The more specific version is actually you got to the next question, you psychic.
If I was only able to keep one for everything. Probably Metabots. Okay. Color me surprised. I thought you were going to say Pokemon. I genericized you a little bit. That's on me. Honestly, part of the reason why I would get rid of Pokemon is so that it wouldn't be such the hype that it is right now.
Jesus, yeah. Because, like, it's almost impossible to make any sort of, like, trainer-style game without people being like, is this just a Pokemon ripoff?
Pretty much,
and it's like, I don't know, maybe it's an RPG with a flavoring of just a trainer. Nope. Pokemon? I mean, God, there's so many fucking D&D games that are like, we're doing Pokemon Trainer, the flavored campaign. And they're all bad. They're all so bad.
Well, I mean, because honestly, how do you do a Pokemon campaign without Pokemon?
Like legitimately right now come up with an answer?
Yeah.
Swarm Rangers. Rangers in general. That's it. That's your only option. The least popular, weakest class in all of D&D that gets power scaled quicker than... It is the only martial class that is bad in the beginning and bad at the end. Because martial classes are supposed to be amazing early game and then start to struggle late game, and that's where like magic items get leveled out and stuff, and you know, magic classes are supposed to be the inverse. Rangers are somehow like in the middle, and then you get the worst of both worlds. Well, your progression is slow and your damage is low.
The problem is a ranger is supposed to be kind of like a combination of several other classes, but
Rogue and Druid.
But those other classes do what they specialize in far better. The only time you're going to have benefit from a ranger is like if you have like the rest of the crew are just druids.
And I mean, still, I'm going to level with you, not even then, because the different circles of druids are just so wide. It's like, I want a ranger to be my DPS. Cool, we got Circle and Moon Druid that just turned into a goddamn dire bear. We don't really need your DPS. But I want ranged damage with my ranger. Circle of Spores, bitch.
Yeah, it's basically, it's a class where it's like everyone else wants to play one thing. Someone else plays a ranger just to give a little bit of diversity to the other aspects. But even then, those other classes just do everything so much better. And how often are you going to play Oops All Bards?
Yeah, no, very rare. And I mean, honestly, though, I would take Oops All Bards to Oops All Bards except for one ranger. Like, to be fair, the only reason you guys struggle at all in your campaign is because 50% of the people who are playing, this is their first D&D campaign ever. And the remaining 50% of the people are either A, role-playing a moron to the point that it's just fucking, like, almost frustrating for me occasionally.
It should be better at this point now that I have those negative stats removed.
Never change. Do exactly what you need to. And I love Tyler Death, you know, he's my best friend, but it's definitely, like, he has an itch to scratch, and when it gets to Tuesday, he's like, oh, finally, I can roleplay, and it's my show. And there's sometimes that I have to kind of be like, no, your fantastical plan that you just took over the whole campaign to spend 30 minutes.
I'd say the biggest thing about him, he's kind of like the people who play games specifically to find bugs and glitches.
Yes, yes, and like... He's a better DM than me. So I think one of the things that kind of throws me is he looks for bugs and glitches and stuff at the level of DMing that he does. Now, I think pound for pound, I might be a better role player than him. But I'm also probably the only one that's like actively looked into acting stuff, and I try to do voice acting work, and I mean, he has more voices than me, but hi, Tuto, it's a pleasure to meet you. I can just fucking commit to a voice forever. I am here. I'm shitty Bradley Cooper. Hi, Rocket Raccoon. Rocket! Like, you know, it's just all there. So, and then, like, my follow-up question, since we're doing Metabots, which surprises me, and this one's probably going to be easy, you can only keep the anime, the games, or the comics.
Of Metabots?
Yes. and everything else goes away.
I mean, honestly, I know there's a video game for Metabots. I'm assuming there's a comic.
A video game. All right.
Oh, I think there's a couple. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I never played them. Never really looked into them. Maybe saw a video on YouTube about them.
I have never played them, but I've watched a few videos. If you're curious, Armored Core had a baby with Pokemon, and that's the Metabot games.
But, I mean, that's kind of like the concept I really enjoyed about Metabots was the fact that you don't just have this one thing that you it's like you win a battle, you take a piece, and then you can, like, structure it onto your Metabot and make them stronger. So I like kind of like the manipulation there as well. So, I mean...
Metabots fucking deserved better, god damn it.
They did. But, I mean, once again, they were on 4Kids, so... Mm-hmm. And we know what they did with One Piece.
And every time you're on... God, I hate that. Please cut that joke. Don't even cut it. Just censor it until it gets to this part, and then when people are like, what was that protracted beef? Be like, I fucked up. I shouldn't have said that.
I don't know. I mean, considering how often it's happening anymore just on, like, YouTube and YouTube creators in general, though, I mean...
Fucking might as well just let them go through.
Especially Minecraft. Your community needs to do better. Some of y'all are doing wonderful. Other of y'all need to chill the fuck out and get off them kids.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pause and talk about, like, YouTube standards of behavior for a little bit. I don't know if this is going to reach anyone important, but fucking do better. This is a public platform, and we're supposed to lead by example. I do stand-up comedy. Trust me, it is hard sometimes to avoid the low-hanging joke, but you do it to be better. We do a YouTube commentary channel on a media consumed by adults and children. Yes, I cuss a lot, but there's some shit I don't say. Sorry.
No, you're good. I mean... Honestly, I'm going to quote Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamer. I mean, the easiest part of this is to wake up and not interact with kids. It's the easiest thing to do.
and if for some reason you have this whole savior mentality of like, I need to interact with kids to give them a safe person to communicate with, fucking take that responsibility then. And run with that, okay? If you are interacting with kids, it should purely be in an educator standpoint. There's a power dynamic. Ugh.
Yeah, as a teacher, or as a
Virgil, a guide, a completely chaste, separate, like...
Right. Like what is it? Like apprentice and master kind of situation.
Right.
Guide them. Don't you can be friendly, but don't be their friend.
Right, like a kid reaches out and was like, hey, popular Minecraft YouTuber who's recently canceled for stealing content and stuff like that, I have no friends and I'm really lonely and sometimes I think about ending it all. Like, yeah, communicate with that kid and be like, hey, don't do that. Here's a couple self-help guides. It'll get better. It gets better, but don't like, oh, bud, I'll save you. I'll protect you. Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry. I am mad at YouTube right now. There's been some weirdness, to say the least. So, talking a little bit more about the media you consumed as a kid. So for a lot of people, it's escape. For some people, it's just entertainment. Like, where do you feel like you fall on that spectrum of you consume it because it adds to your life, or you consume it because it takes away stress from your life? And that is a spectrum. You don't have to be completely committed to one side or the other.
I would say it would mostly fall under entertainment. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a little bit of levels of stress being removed from it, but usually that's what like I do for like video games and stuff like that. It's so I can just space out and not think about anything besides the one thing I'm trying to accomplish in a game. Mm-hmm. Whereas like when I'm watching shows and stuff, it's usually for entertainment or information or things like that, because I like to learn a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. I mean, it not just like anime and related stuff like that. Like whenever I started trying to lose weight and everything, mm-hmm. went in, looked because I heard about keto, went in, did research on keto, the different things I needed to do for it, stuff like that. I mean, so that's kind of how I view like a lot of anime, YouTube stuff like that. It's for entertainment and mainly for entertainment and knowledge.
Heard. So it's a little bit healthier of a consumption pathway, some might say.
Man.
As someone who falls on the other side of the spectrum, that's the removal of stress from my life. Grass is always greener. It seems healthier for people who are just like, yeah, I just consume things because it makes my life more rich and full. And I'm like, yeah, that's why we consume things. Awesome. So, aside from media, aside from hobbies, if you had to describe yourself in 3 words that you want people to know about you, no need to worry about, like, completely accurate, you know, like, yeah, everyone can point out their flaws quicker, but, like, people are going to see this, the things that you want them to know, top 3 things just off the top of your head.
I don't know.
Self-actualization is important, bud. We will get there one day.
Well, it's one of those things, like, if I had more time... You see something?
I mixed up the desktop audio and the MIC aux for the record time. And when I looked up, I saw 00, and I was like, did we fuck up again? Anyway, back to the interview.
Yeah, I'll probably end up cutting a lot of that out.
Nah, leave it.
Just for time. Well, it's one of those things where it's like thinking about, like, we would find it interesting to rewatch, but would someone stopping in for the first time, expecting to hear, you know, certain things, would they be interested in hearing that at the same time? Right.
And this episode definitely should be, like, labeled, like, special get to know your host episode, something, just so people... But people also expect it, because, you know, we had the supersized episode last week of things going on, which can be found on, which platform again?
YouTube.
At, what channel?
John Quixote.
Oh, can you spell that for me real quick?
JOHNQUIXOTE.
Oh, like...
No space, because it will automatically tell you to... It autocorrects into John Quixote 2 words, and then you have to hit the, no, I meant John Quixote 1 word. It pisses me off so much.
It's because you...
So much. It makes my channel so fucking hard to find via search.
That's why you gotta just find a way to edit a space in between and say, fuck it, let's go.
Well, even then, it'd still make it hard to find because, I mean, there's like I want to say it's like a Farscape videos or something like that, where apparently there was an episode called John Quixote that apparently comes up first and all that sort of stuff because that's what it always tries to redirect to.
Which actually makes me want to ask, John Quixote, that name sounds really familiar. How'd you come up with your YouTube name?
Not the way you'd expect.
Do tell.
It all had to do with this was around the time I was trying to figure out, you know, how to create a YouTube channel and all this back in like 2017, and I was trying to just come up with names for the channel because at that time, during that time, it was usually people were using for their names was like a form of their name and then something else like JonTron, Markiplier, which I mean I came up with like because like JonTron, his name is like John Jafar or something like that. Jafar. So it's kind of convoluted, but JonTron, Tron, is just 2 letters short of my last name.
Yeah.
Oh, Jafari, that's it. So I thought maybe if I was John Afar and remove his first letter.
Probably smart that you didn't align yourself name-wise with the
I agree.
hyper-canceled YouTuber.
I agree. But another one that like I saw Markiplier, I was like, maybe John Division.
John Division would be a fantastic play on a band name called Joy Division, which is sort of like, it's like the most above ground, underground music ever. Like a lot of people would be like, oh, I listen to Joy Division. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. But yeah, no. So honestly, both of those would be pretty solid. I like John Quixote though. I think
and that was actually more based off of the book than Don Quixote from One Piece.
Oh, I assumed as much actually. Yeah. I thought you wouldn't name it after the worst fucking pirates in One Piece, but whatever. Nepotism pirates, the Nepo babies.
Yeah, I mean, more or less, that's kind of like a happy, sad coincidence, depending on how you view it.
Sad. So sad. So endlessly bad. Bad and sad.
But yeah, but if you go back to like the early days of the channel, I mean, you still see at the end the windmill and everything in the closing thing that I use. I mean, it was based off of like Don Quixote from what's his name, the author. Doesn't matter.
Right. It was one of those like classic fables authors and stuff like that.
Right. I just always like the story of, Don Quixote going after the windmills, confusing them with giants.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Well, he just, wanted to be a hero.
All right. I want to be a hero.
Oh, that actually segues me to my next question. Thank you so much. In a perfect world, what would you like to see for your channel, for your community? What kind of things would you like to share amongst your community? This is a multifaceted question. Let's start at the beginning. What would you like to see for your channel, aside from the usual just 7 million subscribers? Oh boy, being able to pick and choose which sponsors you use, so on and so forth. What would you like to see for your channel if you could just put out whatever content you wanted to put out? Asking serious questions here.
Yeah, this is one of the problems. You're asking an overthinker a question that causes them to overthink.
Damn, it's almost like I took a couple classes on interviews.
Okay, repeat the question just one more time.
We'll start with the easier side. What kind of content would you like to see on your channel in the future?
Honestly, just a wide variety, honestly. Mm-hmm. I mean, because kind of like with my interest in like the collections and different hobbies that I do, I mean, I constantly look at and see like different things I would like to attempt to try to do, but then end up being like, oh wait, you gotta edit those videos, you've got these videos to edit. It's hard to branch out, so I'd like to be able to see a point where I can focus on multiple different aspects and different avenues, to pursue those kind of interests further.
So you'd like to be able to afford an editor so that you can just record more videos?
Yeah, yes.
Heard.
Especially since editing is one of those areas where I'm kind of weak at. Even though I've been doing this for about close to 7 years, editing is just one of those things that I've had the hardest time getting better at.
God, it's almost like it's a difficult skill that we should appreciate when people do, instead of just being armchair warriors and sitting there in comments complaining about people's editing. Oh, sorry. Ooh, awesome. So get to a point just where you can start branching out. If there is something that your subscribers could take with them, because, we're low right now, which is totally fine, but that's going to get bigger, as time moves on. If there's something that you could, like a mission statement, you could kind of give to the people that watch your content, and unrelated to, because I know, we're doing the One Piece commentary and Let's Plays, like, it's nothing, like, insane, right? But, like, if you could, like, take every person individually aside and you're like, hey, this is what I want you to take from me, what do you think you would tell that person?
Oh, to have fun in everything you're trying to do. It doesn't matter necessarily who. Don't do something just because it's popular, just because you want to get views, you want to get paid, you want to do stuff. All that stuff, fine, it's nice, but it's not what you should chase. You should chase having fun and enjoying what you're doing first and foremost.
Kind of approach everything with like a very genuine mindset, a very, do it because you want to, and then hopefully doing the things you want to will inevitably support you.
Right. Don't expect it to happen, but do something because you're having fun that you want to do it. That's kind of been developed over watching a lot of like YouTubers, not ones that I necessarily watch, but you have like your Jake Pauls and stuff like that, where it's just like they do it because they're chasing something else. Mm-hmm. They don't do content that they necessarily want to do. I mean, he probably wants to do that kind of content, but it's
I mean, you saw he hard pivoted into like sports and combat sports like immediately as soon as he was like given an opportunity. Like the Paul brothers dropped YouTube the second they didn't need it anymore. They were like, well, we screwed this up. Bye. Shoo.
Yeah, the focus was too much on trying to get viewers, trying to get everything else, try to make the money so that they could flex and do all this other stuff that's really unnecessary. Because I don't know. I'm more of a person. I'm interested in the connections I make with people. Mm-hmm. I put the value of other people in my life higher than a lot of other stuff that I have.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I have a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
a lot of stuff that you very readily try to give away to people. It's like going to your grandparents' house. I've pointed at things and been like, oh, I like that. He's like, do you want to take it with you? And I'm like, Jonathan. I have no space for anything right now.
No, which is fair. But yeah, it's like one of those things where, like, I like stuff. Stuff is fun. There's nothing wrong with liking stuff, but I value people more than I value the stuff I have.
For me, it depends on the people. I'm not even gonna lie. There have been people where it's like my PlayStation 5 and coworkers of mine are hanging over a cliff, and I can only pull up one of them. I'm gonna be like, I don't know, the PlayStation 5 is taking care of me when you have it. So, if it wasn't for content creation, what do you think is something you'd like to see yourself doing on a regular basis? I know jobs and careers have been a big conversation outside of recording lately.
Well, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for content creating, honestly, even right now, things that I'm working on, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to get a job right now, which hopefully I have maybe soon. It looks promising.
Type F in the chat for respects. I told you that got me in trouble at my job.
Really?
Yeah, we have to use this very popular group messaging app that I'm not going to give free sponsorship, so I'll call Reams instead of its actual name. And I just, like, in the district chat was like, can I get an F in the chat for how much pushback I've gotten today? And, like, the pretty much, like, regional HR manager was like, hey, I see you've been having a hard time. Is there anything you want to talk about? And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to make a joke to a bunch of other sales people, like, about sales being hard.
Yeah, but see, that's also where you're trying to put, like, modern day sarcastic jokes in, boomer spaces.
Gotta love. Okay, boomer. Oh, sorry. I was about to unlock my persona. Anime references. I know it's a game series, but it's an anime.
It's an anime game.
Yeah,
it's exactly. A game anime.
Gamanime. Anime. This is my new anime.
Don't steal.
This is my OC for my anime. Don't steal. Oh, posting it. Don't worry, it's super dramatic. It's a half angel, half devil, but the wings are black. But yeah, I was one of those kids. I can't even fucking joke. I'd be like, this is my fallen angel OC, Azrael Zia. He was cast from heaven from trying to protect slaves. I don't know. I was always like the punished hero was my favorite archetype.
Well, and I think a lot of us go through those kind of times in our lives where that's the way we view ourselves, like, or our OCs.
Your sense of identity is just your OC that people aren't judging you for having.
But honestly, when you're younger, you think about all these powers you would want to have. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, you want to give yourself all the greatest powers. Once you start getting older and you start understanding more like subtlety and stuff like that, you start to be like, you know what? That's cool, but it's kind of boring. Give me something with a little bit of a challenge. Something I can have fun with.
Right. The Luffy versus Anil thing. Like, Anil is just baseline incredibly powerful. It makes no sense. You can't even step to Eminem. And then it's just like, here's Luffy who's like, I'm made of rubber. Yeehaw! Let's go! I'm an insulator! Still, the scariest thing was that one giant person crawling into Luffy and then, like, growing large inside of him and then wearing Luffy as a bodysuit.
I've actually never seen it. Because it's
so creepy looking. It is the creepiest.
It sounds creepy.
It is inflation mixed with giantess mixed. It's just not okay. It is scary. I don't like it. And she literally does it so she can walk through water, which makes me question, like, well, if water saps the power of your devil fruit and Luffy's body is extended, like, I know Luffy can extend through water, that's been proven, but, like,
well, I guess technically she was wearing a rubber suit. It's not that water negates the power ability; it negates the energy of the person who uses it. Mm-hmm. And so, like, Luffy can still be stretched.
Yeah, like they proved that with Arlong, because he just pulled his head out of the water and was like, "Breathe, boy."
He just wouldn't necessarily have the energy to be able to do that himself.
Right? He'd be like, "Oh, you can stretch me, but I can't." Whip. See, that's Gear 6. It's gonna be water resistant rubber. So it'll be like, I'm the Luffy that can fight in the ocean. I'm gonna go punch the Sea King that ate Shanks' arm, and then I'm gonna take its arm that's still inside of its body for some reason, undigested because of hockey or some bullshit. And then Shanks is gonna reattach it to his body using Law's the Operation Fruit. And then I'm gonna fight Shanks for the hat. That's Luffy's One Piece, is gonna be kicking the shit out of Shanks. Shanks is going to be like, I got my arm back. I'm going to fight you at full strength. And Luffy's going to be like, you don't get the fuck out my house. God damn it. Give my hat back.
Now, see, Luffy's going to give the hat back to Shanks and then take the big one at Marie Schwa.
Right. Once Luffy's permanently Joy Boyified.
Yeah, the thing is, though, he's only going to Gear 3 his head. That's going to be the only part of his body that's going to... Literally look like a Funko Pop.
Oda has done some dumb shit with his character designs. I will not forgive that. If that ends up being like Luffy's just chibi-fied the entire time, I'm dropping One Piece. I've wasted all of my time. I think I'm gonna reread One Piece, actually. I'm gonna start again from the beginning for the second time this year and just try to like read it through the lens of knowing what's currently happening.
I mean, honestly, that's not a bad idea because, like, even I've thought about doing it mainly because there's like certain areas. Like, I remember the early parts of One Piece so well, mainly because like I've seen the first how many, like up to Water 7 like 50 times.
Yeah,
I've read up to like Skypiea like 20 times. But it's like I need to get past that point because there's like certain areas like in Marineford with all the characters, Impel Down with all the characters.
Why don't you just like start reading at Water 7 and go from there then?
I probably will because honestly, it's like even through Dressrosa, all the characters and stuff like that. I like last week I was struggling trying to remember certain events and things that occurred. But then again, I've only read it through that one time when it was coming out. Like, what, 7 years ago? 6
And it's a bad arc, so, you know, worst fucking antagonist, like, most goddamn wasted time.
I mean, and that's where, like, you and I disagree on it. That's why I think, aside from, like, his backstory of when he was a kid, I feel like that could have been written better.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
But I really like villains that I can hate. And not necessarily... Because there's a difference between hating a villain and having a villain you can hate. Because some villains are just poorly written. And they are just bad. And you want to see them gone, not for what I would call the right reasons. You want them gone because they are a detriment to the story. Whereas then you have the villains that you're allowed to hate, that are written really well and are just disgusting, that you want to see die. To me, those are good villains. Really good villains. Because, in the end, are you supposed to like the villains?
There is two very strongly competing schools of thought on that.
Which is why I say yes to both.
Yeah. It's like, you're supposed to not like them. You're supposed to like them because their defeat's supposed to elicit a response, be it positive or negative. I just like... It is the basis of the motivation of the villain that will determine. And like, yeah, you know, Dofi is super fucking hateable. But it goes back to you can't go aside from his backstory. He's a good villain. Well, I mean, you can. It's a fucking subjective media. You can assume however you want. But for me, I can't go aside from this huge glaring part of his backstory. He'd be a great villain because, like I said it last week and I'll say it this week. It shouldn't have been Dofi. It should have been Dofi's dad. Dofi and Roxiante should have died as kids. And then it should have... I mean...
Well, I think there are several ways that it could have been done for the backstory. And think of it this way. If we were to take that section of the backstory out, because, you know, not every character gets that. Not every villain gets that.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to Kaido as a baby.
Right. So, I mean... If we just were to, say instead of going that far back to his childhood, and we just got introduced to him when Rocinante was still, you know, thought of being, you know, one with the Don Quixote family. When Law first arrived.
would have been fine. Would have been perfect.
Exactly.
They could have even just, like, lampshaded, like, my dad died when I was a kid. Because then we'd reflect our own, like, oh, you're probably a good kid. It's, what they screwed it up is I can't stand a shitty kid. Like, full of themselves, whiny. Like, I understand kids have to grow up, you know. If it's a real kid, sure, it's like, you know, but media is a fiction. And that fiction can very much just be kids don't suck, you know, and then it's like the rice ball girl. A kid wouldn't actually do that. A kid wouldn't go against the police force of the environment and like make food for a criminal who's on like, you know, kids are taught to like, oh, the law,
Given the circumstances, though, of that whole situation where the Marines were pretty much just legalized pirates of that town, I could see that more. But, I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know. Just, I feel like kids and dogs should play the same role. Because, like, if there was just, like, a shitty dog, you'd be like, this is bothersome because I'm not allowed to hate you. It's fucking Gabby from Attack on Titan. Listen. She had every right in the world to be that motivated in what she did. Spoilers for Attack on Titan coming up if you haven't finished the series. But she still killed my favorite character. So fuck Gabby. Fuck this shitty little kid. Fuck this, like, I'm gonna kill the allegory for Jews. Like, fuck you, Gabby. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I hate you. Fuck you. Well written enough to elicit a response out of me. Sure. Fuck you. You know?
I think that's also kind of where we differ, because I like those things that elicit really good emotions. Mm-hmm. And I don't think children should be barred from that, but they should have good reasons behind, as far as like good development for why they've diverted or changed into being horrible. Like with Dofi, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why I want to say Milsgard, but that's not his father's name. It doesn't make sense why Dofi turned out the way he did, with the rest of the three being really like normal.
Brother, nice. Father, nice. Mother, nice. Dofi, the fuck. Like,
yeah, it's like, well, I mean, did he just learn all this from all the other celestial dragons? Is then why didn't Rocinante end up like that as well? It just there's that through line that just doesn't add up. And like I say, if you remove all of that, everything else is just great for that kind of evil villain.
So, get ready for Convince Me I'm Wrong, where I'm going to throw a fan theory towards you, and you get to debate that fan theory. I'm going to die on the hill that this fan theory is correct. I need you to die on the hill that the fan theory is incorrect.
I may or may not.
I have a fun one for you today, actually.
It better be.
I think, and it's not the one you think, but I think this is going to be one that you find interesting enough. Celestial dragons wear the air bubbles because Sapphire Scale is a celestial dragon bloodline issue or whatever, and they're always wearing those to avoid UV radiation hitting them and causing them to sapphire up. It is a failing of the celestial bloodline, celestial dragon bloodline, and it is going to come up later. That it's not just because there's something about the whole like breathing the air of other people stuff that like feels unfulfilled because other celestial dragons haven't. But what if the bubbles are more than just self-contained air? What if they are also UV protection? Because also, if it was well known that the celestial dragons had a like genetic failing that would really shake the power structure. I
mean, they inbred as fuck. They already got a genetic failing.
But that's hand waved as genetic purity. They hand wave that. Yeah, like Charlos is fucking busted looking, sure.
Yeah, I think he's younger than me. But he looks like he's about twice as old.
Yeah. But I mean, he's busted looking, but it's not like he has something that's gonna kill him if he walks into the sun. Nothing that makes him like weak.
I don't know, because my whole understanding of the reason why they wear the air bubble thing is because they don't see it. The air beneath them is beneath them.
Yeah.
basically they shouldn't have to breathe the same air as these commoners, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like a snotty attitude. I mean, there's a potentiality that it could be something linked to that.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe because I mean, honestly, these prove me I'm wrongs, I think, do a lot better as discussions than debates.
Yeah.
Because instead of just looking at, because there's not enough evidence to prove it one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because making up things that aren't based off of anything besides just speculation.
Yeah.
So there's not any clear evidence for it or against it, truthfully. So thematically, I'm not sure how I feel about that idea thematically.
Yeah.
Especially since we see them on Marie Joie not wearing this. I mean, they'll still wear like the spacesuits, but without the bubble. And I mean, they're still getting sunlight and moonlight from up there.
Yeah.
So I don't see why that would be the specific reason why they would be donning on the suits whenever they go in to like the lower realm.
Says this doesn't work as a debate, then drops a relatively good like argument debate against it because I completely forgot about the fact that they don't wear the bubbles on Marie Joie. I blank on everything that happens up there. Like, I don't know what the fuck it is, but there have been so many times that you've referenced this, like, yeah, what about the people being here? And I'm just like, what did happen? I am a good Marine, okay? I don't know what happens on Marie Joie. I don't pay attention to it. I don't look at the five elders. I avert my eyes.
Yeah, which I mean, one of the potential like arguments for like the Sapphire Scales things is like Saturn. He ain't wearing a bubble right now.
Is he a celestial dragon? Are the five elders celestial dragons?
I think. I mean, that is a good point because we technically we assume that they're celestial dragons. We assume that they're high-ranking celestial dragons, like the five elder stores of the celestial dragons. I don't think we have 100% verification, but it's implied that they are.
See, I don't think they are.
Which it's possible they might not be.
Yeah, I really think they're just like the highest ranking Marines.
See, and that's kind of why I say it's better for like discussion than just pure out debate. Mm-hmm. It's because we can more delve into these kind of theories and find more ideas instead of making a competition, making it kind of like a collaborative effort of what makes the most sense.
I'm still going to intro it the same way every time because I love the intro.
That's fine. And to a sense, it could be still proving the theory wrong by us having more of a discussion about it instead of going, having like a kangaroo cart making up points that may or may not actually fit.
I still stand by that was Foxy. Foxy was a high-ranking Marine. That's why he's allowed to just act with impunity because it's just like he goes around acting like a threat, but he's a joke.
Well, and he's a threat because of the size of his crew, based off the number of Davy back fights he's won.
Yeah, because every time you win a Davy back fight, you get the other crew, right? Isn't that like...
Every time you win a fight, you get to choose someone from the opposing crew. Or you can choose the Flag. Or the Jolly Roger.
And then you do kind of get the crew, because if they want to stick with the same, branding...
Well, remember when the Davy back fights were first introduced, and which we're getting way off topic, but when the
crazy, it's like that's the podcast.
It's a Ramblecast.
It is a Ramblecast. That should be the new sign off. And thanks for rambling.
Yeah, we didn't even workshop that at all this time, did we? But the first time you
will watch us grow. Continue.
When we're introduced to the Davy back fights, we were introduced to it before we even saw Foxy, because we saw the I forget the name of the crew, but it was like the Frog Pirates. I think it was the Frog Pirates actually, where they had no leadership. They had no. Whenever they encountered the Straw Hats, they didn't know what to do. They were just not rambling about, but they're just
rambunctiously causing a fracas.
Right. They see the Straw Hats and they had no direction as far as to,
Because did their captain get taken in the Davy back?
Right. Their captain, I think their doctor, and one other person. But the rest of the crew was left behind. And so they ended up dying. And I think because of the monkey fish?
It was some random...
Sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys, heard. Monkfish. Speaking of random fish, though, I did like the insert of you last week explaining how we were both right and both wrong, with like Editor John showing up. Also, say hi, Editor John. I'm gonna do that every time, so you have to put some random fucking text that's just like, hi.
I'm putting one right up here right now.
And so go
just
to hell, Devin. Alright, so do you think Sapphire Scales is Celestial Dragon exclusive, though? Because the only time it has ever been mentioned has been someone who is 50% Celestial Dragon.
I mean...
Ooh, what if that's why they don't breed? What if their genome is so fucked up that if they breed with someone else, they, like, damage their body so they can no longer process UV radiation?
Considering how many wives Charles has, to assume that...
How many of his kids have we seen?
I mean, none, but I mean, how many, aside from Bonnie, how many... of those kind of children have we seen?
So what you're saying is 100% of the evidence we have indicates...
Ginny, though, I mean, we don't know who her parents were. She might have been one of those kind of children as well, so it's possible, but it's also very possible that she was just born from two parents in that situation as well, or she could have been captured. She's the one who initially had the Sapphire Scales.
Oh, did she have Sapphire Scales?
Yeah, that's what she died of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bonnie got it from Jenny. So it's...
But Bonnie got it a lot younger than Jenny did, because Jenny...
Well, Bonnie was born with it.
Yeah.
Jenny contracted it while she was at Celestial in the... in Marie Schwa. So, I mean, it is... But we also know that the Celestial Dragons, they do some pretty fucked up shit to their slaves.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically use them as guinea pigs for fun.
Hey.
My apologies.
Hey, we don't fucking say that shit. I have a guinea pig. I don't fucking know. They use them as test subjects.
Or lab rats.
That fucking ice, JJ, just gets thinner and thinner every night.
But, I mean, basically, they just fuck around with them. They feed them devil fruits just for a laugh.
Right, just to see what happens.
Right, that's how Bowen and her sisters got their devil fruits, is they were like, let's give them these random devil fruits and let's have fun seeing what they do with them.
Oh yeah, we'll fuck up your entire mode of operation and then go create one of the strongest pirate crews in the entirety of the seas. Hell yeah, Amazons, let's run.
I mean, they do some stupid stuff at Marie Schwab for entertainment. So, I mean...
Dude, I can't wait to see Boa and the Amazons just pull up on Marie Schwab. Like, Luffy's gonna get captured. It's gonna be like a temporary capture thing, but there's gonna, like, a notice is gonna go out to the Grand Fleet. And it's gonna be the Boa scene part 2. This time it's a building and not a person, though. You dare lay a hand on my husband! I want to see Boa freeze one of the giant characters in mid-air and drop them on something.
If this was Seinen.
No, not for them to shatter. To destroy the building. Like, imagine if, like...
I mean, I guess technically you could make that work in One Piece. It's just, I have a hard time not seeing the person shattering from frozen impact.
But, like, could you just imagine if the...
Oh, wait. Yeah, well, but yeah, there's stone, so yeah.
Yeah, just imagine, though, like, the giant fish guy that we were talking about last week.
Watatsumi?
Yeah, and he's like... And Boa's just like, stop. And he's like... And then, like, you know, it doesn't have to land on a building, because a boat wouldn't shatter him. So he just jumps... gets frozen and then just destroys like 4 boats or whatever as he's going down. His Boa's just like, stop.
That's how I was gonna say that's how the Blackbeard pirates get taken out, but no, Watatsumi, it's Sanwan Wolf. I'm thinking of on that one.
Yeah. Which, what was his fish again? He was the one who was a...
I don't think he's a fishman. I think he's a giant. Guess who's looking this up afterwards?
Every fucking week we do this to ourselves, and that's why we have to reread this goddamn series, so that when we're like, oh yeah, you remember fucking Onion Boy from Syrup Village, and you can be like, oh, you mean Fushiguro?
Because I think Watatsumi, and I think that's part of what was confusing me with Watatsumi last week, was Because I thought Watatsumi and Sanwan Wolf were of the same species, but I think one is technically a giant, the other one is a fishman who is giant-sized.
Yeah, which is annoying. I still stand by, though, that a giant, like, a well-trained giant fishman would be a much bigger threat than we're giving credit for. Like, if Jimbei was giant-sized,
I don't think that would still outweigh, like, the whole idea of, like, a Lunarian mink, though. Just because of the versatility and the kind of brokenness of some of the Lunarian powers mixed with the mink strength.
Yeah, but, the brokenness of Lunarian powers would be counteracted by large amounts of water. Okay, think of the Garp Cannonball, right? Now, imagine the Fishman Karate, Water Bullet, Garp Cannonball sized.
But think of lightning mixed with water.
Depending on what type of fishman, it might not be a problem. Okay, hear me out. Electric eel fishman.
Unless it's a rubber fishman.
Electric eel fishman.
Maybe, okay, but still, considering how many variety of fish there are, the likelihood of you getting electricity conducting giant fishmen is a crapshoot at the very least.
Okay,
whereas,
but
Lunarians are, that's the basic powers of every Lunarian.
Yeah. Basic
powers of every mink.
God, I want to know what, the basic power set of Buccaneers are.
Be big.
Big. But then,
be big, be strong.
But then why would Buccaneers be such an issue if giants exist,
I think Buccaneers are such once again, this is going into theory crafting here because we don't know. We don't have any. We just found out about
Once again, it's what the podcast is for.
Yeah, but you got to point these things out.
Yeah.
But Buccaneers, I swear, they have to have some correlation with, the Void Century. That's the reason why they're so hated, why they're so reviled by, the world government and by Marie Schwa and Celestial Dragons and such, is because they were the enemy and they needed to be eradicated. Kind of like...
what if they were the initial ruling class before the Celestial Dragons?
They very well could have been, because, the council of... the throne with all the swords and everything, those were supposed to have been all the original... leaders of the kingdoms who united together to fight Joy Boy's faction. So it seems to indicate that there was a ruling class before the Celestial Dragons took over, and then the Celestial Dragons we're the new gods of the world.
Fun fan theory, Emu is actually a Buccaneer, and she just decided to, Emu was Joy Boy's wife. Joy Boy and Emu were both Buccaneers. They had a falling out. Emu betrayed it and found the Celestial Dragons, built a power set, and took over existing class.
I think that it's possible. The only thing I would say is there was some slight wordage of the fact that there was a Emu might be the particular person who disappeared from history, that there was supposed to be another... this was all going on when, Cobra was talking to Emu.
Yeah, talking about the original...
Lily. And... because, at that time, when it was first going on, I was like, ooh, Emu might be Lily Nefertari. So... but then we found out, no, Lily was actually a secret team member. Sorry, it just connected as soon as I said it. It threw me off.
All D's should be secret members, really. She's part of the D Club! Nah, that's a shout out for my Game Grumps fans. Get in the comments.
But there was made mention of, someone who worked with Lily who was part of the initial crew going up against, the Joy Boys. That seemed to have vanished from history or something like that. And once again, this is basing off of memory. I need to reread that again to kind of get
so much shit was happening at that point in time.
Oh, so much. I mean, Emu, we were finding out that, the Gorosei, they actually have devil fruits. It wasn't just a theory anymore. I was like, yeah, They fucking have devil fruits.
We had, like, the framing of Sabo, like, everything that was going on at that point in time.
Right. And finding out, you know, what was happening with Vivi and Wapple, how they got to Morgan's airship and stuff like that. And
Wapo's gonna eat, like, the Gorsei and become just the biggest fucking threat in One Piece. Like, Wapo's actually the real final villain. He's just gonna do that, like, house fruit thing.
Well, and the thing about that, though, is I wonder if he can actually combine humans with himself. He can combine inorganic material with himself, but I don't think because he can combine organic material together.
Yeah.
Like he did with his two useless...
who became substantially more useful once they were combined together.
They became useful. They went from useless to useful, not substantially useful.
Hey, they were still threats for 5 episodes because they dragged things out at that point in time in One Piece.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so he's just going to eat the 5 Gorsei, combine them into one threat, and then they're going to be like, we're the
one final
Oni no mi fruit model bison.
They all just have various forms of the bison fruit.
I still stand by that Saturn, is that the one we've seen the most of?
Yes.
Saturn's devil fruit is going to be like the Ushi no Mi model Oni.
Probably.
Like, it's going to be, like, they're all going to be variations of devil fruits we've already seen that are zone types, but the demon version of that, because, have you looked up Ushionis yet?
I did a while ago.
They're jar demons, right? They have spider feet, they have bull horns, they are summoned through mystical means. Sound fucking familiar? That's everything Saturn did. Like, you're not supposed to be able to look upon them. Like, it's like a whole thing, right? So, we saw Dalton with the bison fruit. Alabasta was right after... Like, Alabasta... I know there was, like, fucking Whiskey Peak and shit like that, but Alabasta was, like, the next big arc, right?
Oh, Whiskey Peak was part of Alabaster. Like, I mean, basically, from when they entered the Grand Line, once they first met, like, Laboon, Vivi, Mr. 9, I want to say it was Mr. 9?
What
it
was his
either
power?
Mr. 9 or Mr. 7. He didn't have a power, he just had the baseball bat, and he had that, the Prince crown.
Yeah, that's right, because he was, like, Vivi's retainer or some shit.
Well, he was Vivi's counterpart.
Yeah.
Because you know how, like, all the teams had, like...
Day number.
Right.
Yeah. Miss a whole Sunday! Mr. Zero!
The only exception being Bon Clay, Mr. 2, who was both at the same time.
Yeah. I wonder what, like, his, like, miss would be. Anyway, but, like, so, there was the bird guy, right? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw, like, no mi, Uni, you know, just, like, working its way through, like, the various animals that were important at that point in time.
Very possible.
See, I want to see the Hito no Mi modeled Oni, because that would just be Satan, probably. Like, one of the Gorsei is just going to turn into, like, the devil.
Well, I mean, I guess technically there are other ways that... Because, I mean, there are other evil deities besides just, like, Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me to name them offhand.
Susano. Susano's a god slayer. It's a complicated thing. Also, the newest fight coming up in Record of Ragnarok. Fun fact, I don't know if you've kept up with that at all.
I dropped that a while ago. Not because it's bad, it's just...
I mean, it's pretty mid.
I got busy,
mm-hmm.
and so I couldn't, like, keep up with it. Like, the only exception I made for, like, keeping up with stuff is I'm never dropping One Piece.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That is completely fair. Yeah, Record of Ragnarok, I honestly am really just, like... I hit the same point where the fights will drag on every single time, but I'm really just excited to see the next people who are, like, announced, because I was like, I want to see what human folklore character they're going to use. Which god are they going to use?
Which, I mean, that's part of the reason why I stopped reading it as well, was because when you're, like, you think it's bad with One Piece, being caught up with One Piece, Record of Ragnarok is so much worse whenever you're caught up, because it is so slow, just getting it one chapter at a time.
Because they have, like, once a month release.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. And it felt like the fight with, no spoilers, but Leonidas and Apollo took Like, it was only 4 chapters.
It was only 4 chapters, and that probably still took forever.
It felt like 2 months, easily.
But yeah, that's kind of why I dropped it. Also, it was like I'll come back to it later when more of the fights are
consolidated,
right? Because like they can take up to like 6 to 8 chapters, and just going one at a time, and you just get all of this one character's backstory, and then you're like, okay, I want to see the fight.
And it's like 2 panels of fighting, and then it is very much a backstory heavy thing.
Yeah, which I don't mind. It's just like when you're waiting a month between chapters, it's so draining.
No, it absolutely is. So It is time to grab our character randomizer. Awesome. So we're going to do the character versus first. So, rock, paper, scissors to figure out who gets the first character, who gets the second character. 1, 2, 3, shoot. I'm going to throw scissors.
All right, I'm going to throw a rock.
All right, you get the first character, I get the second one. So, JJ, your character this week is Kokoro. Go ahead and pull up that character, because we never fucking remember who we're dealing with anyway.
Wait, what? Is that the mermaid from Water 7?
I thought that was Cammy.
No, from Water 7. The Tom's wife, lady.
I'm not sure. We'll find out soon.
It is.
Yay! Now, I'm willing to offer you 1 mulligan, but that means you have to take whoever would be the next person.
Nope, I'm sticking with it.
Kokoro heard. And I have... Please just be like...
Kaido! Big Mom!
Judge, thanks for playing, baby. Okay, so you have Kokoro, and I have good old Judge Vimsmoke. You got anything? I'll even let you have the train.
She's a fish, man. Mermaid.
Are mermaid fishmen? Does that count, or are they a different thing?
I think mermaid and fishmen are similar in the fact that... Because from my understanding of them, they have like similar genetics as like cats, where as long as it's like somewhere in their hereditary line, they can have like certain features, like with the fur color. Like that's why you can have like a black and a white cat and still end up with like an orange cat, because it's like certain things aren't necessarily considered like recessive or prominent in that aspect.
Speaking of recessive, how are you going to stop your skin from receding from your face as I throw acid at you?
Jumping into the ocean.
Okay. Electric gloves. Thanks for playing. Let's go ahead and
ocean's a pretty big place. That's going to disperse that lightning pretty well.
All right.
And born in the sea, raised in the sea, I'm pretty sure that she got some lungs on her too. She could probably blow Judge away. She did with Big Tom. Puff and Tom.
So you're just gonna take this L, the L. You're just gonna take it because, like, let's be real, you're gonna take it. Like,
it's someone who is a scientifically mad genius. One Piece has got a lot of those. You've got Queen, you've got Judge, you've got Caesar.
I like how you named 3 people who worked in tandem with each other for that. Like, you didn't name Vegapunk or like...
he's mad. He's not... Or he's he's not an evil mad genius.
Yeah, fair. You did... what was the name of their thing? Caesar...
Mads.
Mads. Oh, duh. Was it like... Mathematically advanced demon scientist? Oh, wow! Yeah, I have probably invented some form of scuba suit to chase you down. Like, I'm sure the Power Ranger suit that I have strapped all of my children with.
Well, and not only that, technically Judge would have... Because, you can't really consider his kids as, kids. They're still people, but to him, they're weapons. So, they're just weapons for him to use. He has all those clones for him to use at his disposal. Fighting Judge is fighting an army. Let's be fair.
Derma 66, more like 66 hits. I'm gonna land on you. Yeah, okay. So this one was relatively easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, because Kokoro. She once again, kind of like Buffalo. She's good for retreats.
Oh yeah, fantastic at retreating. One of the fastest swim speeds.
She'd also scar Judge.
She would leave a mark on Judge, but this isn't exactly a Kaido Zoro situation. don't really fucking matter if you leave a scar. Judge is probably just gonna have a healing spray to get rid of the mark that was left over.
I mean, she did well enough to be able to burn away Sanji's and I think also Zoro's memory of there even being mermaids present in Water 7.
Judge can tank a hit from Sanji. Can Kokoro say the same?
It's psychic damage. Psychic damage. There is no defense to psychic.
Intelligence, unfortunately. Mind flayers are pretty much immune.
Oh, but that's D&D, not One Piece.
Oh. D&D One Piece these nuts. Okay, like, I swear to God. Just take your massive L. Kokoro gets folded.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. I seem to get a lot of the retreaty characters.
Well, because we have a tendency to swap if it's too hard for me.
Honestly, the only reason why I held on to Kokoro is I was kind of hoping that maybe you'd also get like a, at least someone...
Show or something.
Yeah, whose child is that even?
Whose kid is this? Awesome. So, devil fruit time. Rock, paper, scissors. Figure out who gets first, too.
Still doing rock.
Still doing scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Shoot, I lied. I sure do love lying.
Liar!
So, first one is me, and I don't know the Japanese names of these, so I'm going to have you pull up pretty much everything.
Same.
Togi no mi.
Oh, it's the spike fruit.
Oh yeah, the Baroque Works lady.
Yes.
Just
Miss
double finger. Yeah, she wasn't named after her day. Swish, 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 swish. Greatest fucking walk cycle in all of One Piece. And your devil fruit...
The jacket no mi.
I fucking hope so. Yuki no mi?
I feel like that one was relatively more recent. I want to say we saw it in Wano. Oh no, it was Punk Hazard. It was the snow fruit.
Who uses that?
What's her name? The harpy lady.
Oh,
Monet. That's right. Sugar's big sister. Or was it younger sister?
I don't know. Let me just go ahead and take my L. Alright.
Yeah, Paramecia versus Logia is pretty much just... I mean, unless you throw in like hockey, which even the person who had... but if you throw in a hockey for one, you gotta throw in hockey for both. And even if you do, I mean, Snow versus Spike, both with hockey. I mean, Zoro did kill her though.
I mean, yeah, but it's Zoro. Zoro also at that point in time would fucking wash Miss Doublefinger because I fucking lost to Nami, okay? I pretty much knew the second I was like...
But yeah, I mean, even like awaken the snow fruit, I mean, turning the environment itself into a winter wonderland of blizzard hell.
I mean, couldn't Monet already do that even without it being awakened?
Well, that's assuming we don't know if it was or wasn't awakened.
I think the best assumption is it's not awakened unless stated otherwise. Because, I mean, like, look at Dofi.
I mean, that is fair. Because, yeah, I mean, Dofi's was awakened.
At the end.
Yeah. But, I mean, technically it's awakened the entire time we know Dofi. It's just he didn't use the awakened form until at the end.
Good old birdcage.
Yeah.
You know what? I fucking knew Yuki meant snow, too, because my ex's kid's name's Yuki, and, like, they told me it was, like, because it's named after snow. I knew this was Snow no mi.
So, yeah, we pretty much had two different one-sided fights. One in your favor, one in mine.
Yeah, no, there's fucking nothing Spikes have to this. What do you think the strongest combination of two devil fruit would be?
I'm trying to think of what would mix perfectly with the Nika no mi. Because, I mean, mix imagination with another fruit. Because, I mean, Nika no mi can already, grab lightning.
It's Hito no mi model Nikia.
I like calling it the Nika fruit. I know it's the Hito fruit. Luffy getting that joke fruit that from the beginning that was, I mean, because the whole joke at the beginning was, if you got the human fruit and you're a human, you just wouldn't be able to swim, huh?
Or you'd become the most human. It just turns you into an empath. You just start crying all the time because everything's bad. I'm just like, why is life like this? Okay, let's take imagination off the playing field just to keep it entertaining.
probably some combination of like the dark fruit, the Yami Yami Nomi, and crap, what's his name? Purple Monkey.
Magellan?
Not Magellan. No. Blind Swordsman.
Fujitora.
Yeah.
It's Purple Tiger.
Yeah, Purple Tiger. That's right.
Yeah, because Kizaru's the monkey, Fujitora's the tiger, Grumble's the bull.
But like Yami Yami Nomi mixed with his gravity. I think it's like gravity. Fruit.
Yeah, it's gravity.
I mean, I think that would be pretty OP.
That'd just be like the black hole Nomi. It's just dark in gravity. Okay, I see that though in Reizu, Smoke Nomi mixed with Poison Nomi, Smoker and Magellan.
You just got Caesar at that point.
But like a much better version of Caesar. Because Caesar he couldn't control the smoke to the same level Smoker can.
I mean, you're just making a poison gas.
Yeah, poison gas.
Like I said, it's just...
Because also Caesar could make one. Magellan could make many poisons.
I still think like the gravity and darkness combined. I think that would mess up, like, because gas is just particles.
Yeah, but you know about
the particles with gravity. You can either absorb it with the darkness, or crush it with the darkness, possibly even.
Well, okay, so that darkness's biggest weakness, right?
Light.
No, everything's still hitting the user.
You still have to hit the user itself. To an extent, it draws it in, but if you can portal it away with the darkness using the gravity and you can crush pretty much anything with a mixture of the darkness and the gravity.
Magellan still put down Blackbeard. And Luffy.
We've been over this thing with Blackbeard, though. Honestly, he fucks up into success.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only reason why he's gotten as far as he has is just because of, if anything, destiny, fate, which is a huge thing that he touts about.
Yeah.
From the moment that we met him, so it's like literally, if anything, you know how I joked about how I really don't want to see Luffy with Buccaneer because of the whole Chosen One trope, and I feel like that would nullify a lot of like. So
you want to see Blackbeard with Buccaneer blood?
No, I want to see Blackbeard as being the chosen one, because the whole thing being fate.
Yeah.
But because of him being the chosen one, that's the only reason why he succeeded so much, is because through all his failure is because of fate and being the chosen one.
That would be funny. Mochi no Mi mixed with the light no Mi fruit. Bendable light. Because that's Kizaru's big downfall, is he has to travel in a straight line.
Well, I was going to say, what if there was like a prism fruit and then combine them? But no, I think if you were to combine light with like mochi, you'd able to bend light in more interesting and unique, weird ways.
Mm-hmm.
It'd almost be like what's the name of those fiber optic cable?
Yeah, just like it's moving light, and I don't know. I think bendable light would be able to grab a black hole.
I don't know. I still don't know about that, because the whole thing about black holes, black holes absorb light. They just basically, not even light can escape a black hole.
Yeah. Speaking of black holes, are you up to date on Invincible at all?
Not the
TV show.
Yeah, not the TV show. I mean, I've watched a YouTube recap of the entire series, so like I know the story.
The reason I bring it up though is there's a scene with Omni-Man just standing on the edge of a black hole where like light starts warping in that flat portion. And he's just standing there, like, looking into the black hole with a sense of ennui because he's disappointed himself in his behavior from season 1. And people are still like, I think Homelander could take Omni-Man in a fight. And it's like, I think you were dropped on your head many times as a child.
No, I mean, Homelander is not as strong as... Like, you would have a better fight between, like, Superman and Omni-Man.
Yeah,
easily. That would be... But, I mean, But then take Superman versus Homelander. Superman wipes.
Oh my god, with no question. He blinks too hard and Homelander's like, my skin is gone.
Right. I mean, the thing about, like, Homelander is, in his universe, yes, he is fucking overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't have the same strength and ability that is present in like Invincible
right
or Superman.
Someone tried to say Homelander takes Mark, and I'm just like, fucking where? Mark has a higher durability feat just from getting his ass kicked from Omni-Man than Homelander's ever presented. Like, pretty much a Homelander would get hit twice with, like, strength equivalent to his, and he would start panicking. He would just be like, this hurts, and I'm not used to things hurting. Lasers.
Yeah, I mean, Homelander, and I think a lot of the confusion comes from the fact that the allegory is supposed to be if Superman was an ego evil person. It doesn't mean that he is
Superman.
Right.
Right. Do you know anything about the rumbling? Attack on Titan, the end of it?
No, I only know like bits and pieces past like season 2 of the anime.
Do you think Homelander beats the Colossal Titan in a fight?
Can he withstand a nuclear blast? Because isn't that what the whole Colossal Titan is? Is basically their blood boils and they become a nuclear bomb?
When they're, like, forming. So, Titan shifters go through, like, a formation, and it releases energy, but because there's so much size with the Colossal Titan, the energy it releases is supposed to be like a nuke.
Yeah, I mean, could he withstand a nuke?
It depends. Like, so we have to start getting the power scaling of the boys, because there was the one super that was like their really distasteful jihadist allegory, which was the guy who can like explode. But then also Soldier Boy in like season 3, after getting sued by Nintendo. Sorry, do you remember that when Soldier Boy released his own game console?
Oh yeah,
you could have called it the Soldier Boy. This is Soldier, my boy.
Well, and I don't think that was the reason why they were suing. I think they were suing because it had a bunch of Nintendo games. Yeah, like all those shitty N64 clones that you see for sale around this time of year.
Oh, they were promoting it with Smash Ultimate.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you done fucking diddly goofed. Like, Nintendo's already gonna, like, death grip their IPs, but then when you're like, hey, your most popular and modern fighting game? It's on my Soldier system.
Yeah, which that's one of the things. It's like a lot of these famous people. I mean, I'm using this, but I'm including like regular famous people as well as people who had like Crank That Soldier Boy popularity.
Crank That by Soldier Boy, 2006, I think. Put some fucking respect.
But like a lot of these people that are creating products when all they're doing is like buying white label stuff and then like not even putting any personality into it themselves. They're just like drop shipping something else and just throwing a sticker on it. It's annoying. It's so annoying. If you're going to actually put out a product, actually put something out. I don't even care if you like change up the design. Actually develop something.
Yeah. Don't just give me a plug and play system.
Right.
Were you a plug and play kid? Did you have any of those? I
had a couple, yeah. Well, I mean, at the time, that was like the only way I could find getting like Dig Dug.
Yeah. That's fair. I think my issue with them is because I was like one of those like lower income kids, it was always very much presented as we got you this fantastic deal and da-da-da-da-da, and it's like, cool. I would have rather you guys taken the money that you spent on this and then put it into like one game.
No, what's even worse are like the ones that are like those shitty rip-off consoles, but then they cost like $60. But then it like my mom actually got me one for my birthday. It was either birthday or Christmas one year, and it was like around $60-$70. And I pretended like I liked it, even though I knew it was shit, just because I didn't want to make her feel like she wasted her money.
Right.
Because it was literally one of those, it was like a long screen that had like the black pixels.
Yeah.
And it only had like simple games on it like Tetris, this car racing game. It said like over 999 games.
So it's the same game 800 times.
Well, it was like 10 games and then like variations on those games. And the only variations was, oh, this one's a faster version.
Or this one's like a different pixel background. Like this one's blue.
No. It was all just like, it was like calculator screen style graphics.
Yeah, so there's no fucking win there. Well, thanks for rambling. Until next time.
Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree.
All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about all this.
Share with your friends if you can. Let it run in the background while you're doing schoolwork all the way to completion. All these things help us adjust. And then don't worry, once we become famous, I'm going to hard pivot into activism. So, we'll do something with that. Guys, it was a pleasure. Thanks for coming out.
Take it easy.